Bitcoin's hitting new recent lows. It actually fell from 113,000 today all the way down to 108,300. This is setting a new low. This is lower than a few days ago. And this is scaring the market, right? And I get it, right? People hear good news and they keep on being told good news, and yet the price falls and they wonder, am I being lied to? Am I more bullish than I should be? Is this the end of the cycle? We'll go through different indicators today that will explain where we are in the cycle, most likely. We'll look at what's causing the price to fall down right now, what's in store for the long weekend as well, because it is a holiday weekend in the US. I'll give you some of my thoughts on what you should be doing right now, because this is somewhat time sensitive. We also have maybe the biggest waste of money that you can have that people get wrapped into. And it's starting like today, basically, is the day that it starts. There's a video on CNBC, so I want to play that for you and give you some of the numbers behind it. If you don't mind, though, take a deep breath, right? It seems scary when the market falls down, but we'll talk about it. It'll be okay. Besides that, if you want to trade, like I said in previous videos, you can check out BYDFi. You can start trading in just a few minutes. You know, anyone that's traded in the last few days, maybe they miss out on some of these pumps, or they get too aggressive, but 99% of the time that you've been in Bitcoin, you would be in profit. If you had bought 99% of the time that Bitcoin's been around, you would be up right now. And same thing with leverage trading, essentially. Like, as long as you don't get too aggressive, I have positions that even after this dip are up 600%, 700%, right? So you can still trade effectively, especially on pullbacks like this. This is actually one of my favorite times to trade, is when people are really bearish, when we've already seen a 15% pullback, because it gives you a lot of cushion. So check out BYDFi if you want to start leverage trading. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the very end of the video, but let's get started. Bitcoin is falling down to $108,500. Actually, below that just a few minutes ago. $108,300. That is a new low, and this is similar to what we saw just a few days ago, where we saw like a handful of lower lows. Like, we started to bounce and then lower low, bounce, lower low, bounce, lower low, bounce, lower low. And we just keep on doing that, like on a very short time frame. And it freaks out the market because people think we've hit bottom, and then we bounce up, and then we go right to the previous level of support, and then we break below it. And then we set a slightly lower low, and then we set a slightly lower low again. And it can wipe out the very aggressive long positions, because some people will go like 100x here, and then it's up, and then it breaks through and liquidates them. So you have to be careful with leverage right now. And I'm not saying not to do it, but like, I wouldn't be 100xing unless you're comfortable with losing that, because the manipulators are out and ready. We have set a lower low. So if you're looking for like the next point that we might bounce off of, let me zoom out here to the 4 hour. We have not been to this level since early July. And really, we chopped around a lot here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we found some kind of footing here. $100,000 is the major psychological level. We also, above that, we bounced off of $103,000 a lot. You can see we like consolidated here in that range, then bounced off of it once, bounced off it twice, bounced off like 105 here. So probably 103, 100, and then the previous low of 98. And that's just if we break lower than here. We could easily just bounce, kind of like we've done in the past, right around this level. Now, I feel like I've spent a lot of time talking about where the price could be going, looking at the charts, but let's talk about why it's actually falling down. Binance is dumping. We knew this morning, that millions in Bitcoin and ETH are flooding into Wintermute. They're basically trying to panic the retail out. They're trying to accumulate the dip and send it vertical. Some people wonder why or how they would do this. They can make millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from this. Like, if you think about it from a whale perspective, right? Let's say it's not even Binance, but just some whale that has, $1 billion in Bitcoin. You can see the order books. So if they see that there are a lot of long positions, let's say we fall down like close to the low. If they see $1 billion or $2 billion worth of longs that would get liquidated at a certain price, they can sell $100 million of their Bitcoin, just market order, then it pushes the price down. All those people get liquidated. And then maybe we go another $2,000 down, and then they buy back their $100 million. So they make like 3% in just a few minutes. And that's if they don't also like short the market and long the market. So if they opened up a $100 million short, sold $100 million, they make money on that short going down, sell the short or close the short. They buy back their Bitcoin after they set a long position. You could see how they can make tens of millions of dollars very quickly. Binance can do the same thing. So there's manipulation. At the same time, the general market is down too. The NASDAQ down about 1%. Now, why is this? Well, it could be due to this Chicago PMI coming in this morning. The Chicago PMI came in at 41.5 versus the expectation of 46. The last was 47. The Chicago PMI is a monthly economic indicator from the Institute of Supply Management that measures manufacturing sector activity in the Chicago region. That could be part of it, right? People are worried maybe the economy is not as strong as we thought, or these numbers just came in lower than expected. It could be due to this PCE inflation, but I actually think this is quite positive. We talked about in the last video, the PCE came in at expectations. Right? The core PCE came in at expectations. The Fed signaled last week that they want to cut interest rates, or that they were open to it. So they're more worried about the labor market than they are inflation at this point. So we still have rate cuts in the future. Inflation is as expected. I still think we have a very bright future. I know it sounds stupid when Bitcoin's going down a little bit, but I don't think we're at the end of this bull market. There are some nations that are experiencing a little bit of a decline. Canada's economy declined 1.6% in Q2. Keep in mind, this is the biggest drop since COVID versus the US, which had the biggest GDP increase since 2023 at like 3.5% this week. So a major difference here could be, due to outside factors that the market's a little bit scared. Could be manipulation. As I said earlier, there are also a lot of options expiring today. $14.8 billion in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Keep in mind, this is the end of the month. Last day of the month, last trading day of the month. So we could see people trying to push down the price of crypto so they make more money on their options, or they're trying to go in and or out of the money, right? So there's going to be manipulation there with some of the whales. Now, again, I said that we aren't at the top, in my opinion. Everything still looks bullish from a fundamental standpoint on Bitcoin. The economy is doing well. Now, if inflation was 3.5% or 4%, that would be a little bit more worrisome. But it's not. It's still under 3%, and the Fed said that they're good. They're okay moving from their 2% goal. So with that in mind, they're okay with higher inflation. That means that assets are going to be increasing in value, and that the dollar is going to be decreasing in value. That's that brings more people to crypto at the end of the day. Inflation and money printing will bring people to crypto, to Bitcoin specifically. Also, with a lower risk-free rate of return, people will want to go more risk on over time. The government's embracing crypto. Just yesterday, they published data on the blockchain. We have the president buying billions of dollars of crypto over the last couple months, embracing crypto in every way possible. So yeah, there's some manipulation short term, but everything fundamentally still looks good. And even when you look at this is into the cryptoverse. I have a 10% off code to this underneath the video. The crypto market cap and trend line. This shows logarithmically how Bitcoin has appreciated over time, or actually how crypto has appreciated over time. And it shows that we're actually undervalued based on where it's been in the past. We have a total market cap of 3.76 with a fair value of 4.27. So basically signaling we're about 10% undervalued, even a little bit more than 10% undervalued right now. You can look at the total crypto valuation versus trend line in another way. This will give us the exact percent, I suppose. Yeah, so about 11, 12%. Keep in mind, bull markets in the past, we've gone up hundreds of percent into the overvaluation category. The first cycle, it was like 1,500%. And then second cycle, 1,500%. Third cycle, 1,200%. Last cycle, we went up to 450% overvalued. So far, the most we've ever gone is 20% overvalued, and that was in March of last year. Historical risk levels. Historical risk, we're only at 0.52 on Bitcoin, much lower than we've ever seen in the past for the top of a cycle. ROI after the cycle bottom, we are, let's see, the fifth cycle here, the lowest that we've ever seen so far. So it's not like we've outperformed every other cycle and, people are calling for the top. Another one, BTC ROI after halving, definitely the lowest that we've seen. And part of that is we pumped a little bit before the halving. But Pi cycle top, this was created based on previous cycles, but it's called the top within just a few days of every cycle. We're not even close to it right now. The Bitcoin price is 112,000. The 350-day simple moving average is 185,000, and the 111-day SMA is 109. So what we need to see is the 111-day past the 350-day. Okay, that would take a very long time at this point to get up there. So we aren't even close, in my opinion, to the 350-day moving average times 2 is what it needs to pass. So based on the Pi cycle top, we're not even close. I've seen other people tweet like we're at 0 of 30 different top signals. Yeah, there aren't many signals that are saying that we are overheated or anything like that. Even if you just look at RSI on the daily right now, 33. This is almost too oversold, right? 33. I might be getting more aggressive with some long positions here because I feel very good about where we're at right now. Like I said, the administration, very bullish. Eric Trump says there's no question Bitcoin hits $1 million. Everyone is buying Bitcoin. Yeah, I agree. Now, I want to give a little bit of a cautionary tale here. Sports betting season is about to kick off. Now, I'd play this for you, but actually it's a little bit boring. But they're just talking about sports betting and the fact that they're unlicensed players and stuff like that, unlicensed sports books. But I found it interesting how much people lose in sports betting. It shows a VIG of 7.5 cents for every dollar they wager. So that's how much players lose on average. That's insane. A QuickGamble.com analysis from 2025 indicated that at-risk gamblers lose around $3,000 annually, while recreational gamblers lose about $500 per year. Okay, well, what would that look like in Bitcoin? I did a little bit of math here. For just someone that lost $500, right? Lost $500 a year. If Bitcoin's price is 110,000 and it goes up by 20% a year, keep in mind it's been going up 50% a year. Even over the last handful of years, it's gone up 50% a year. Just over the last year, it's 70%. In the year before that was 100. But you could buy in the first year almost 0.01 Bitcoin. As time goes on, this becomes very valuable, right? You're able to buy less and less over time. But as time goes on, let's say you did this for 20 years, which I'm assuming a lot of people that bet will probably continue to bet as long as it's legal, because you start doing it recreationally, just like if you drink alcohol, right, or drink beer or something like that. You probably do it for a very long time. As time goes on, as Bitcoin becomes more and more valuable, I mean, you're losing out on potentially millions of dollars if you started when you're 20 and you did this until you're 60. And Bitcoin continues to appreciate by 20%, which it probably won't at some point, right? It'll go down to 12% or 11% or maybe even down to golds or something. But even if it goes up to Michael Saylor's price target of $15 million in 20 years, and I'm actually saying it'll take 28 years for it to do that, that's $400,000. And that's just on something recreational. So I know some people will still do it as part of the audience, but you're almost guaranteed, you are guaranteed really to lose over time in sports gambling because of the VIG. And even if you have some kind of intuition that other people don't, if you're too profitable, they'll kick you off. Compared to Bitcoin, where if you buy over time, you will win, right? So just something to be careful of. Now, I am actually going to open a new long position. I'm going to get pretty aggressive with it too, because let's look at Bitcoin right now. We're at $108,000. There's a lot of fear in the market. We've already pulled back 15, 16%. in my mind, I think that the market looks quite strong. Right? If you look at what's happening across the board, I don't envision Bitcoin having a massive bear market right now. We have no top signals. We have a good economy, great earnings. I'm going to place a long position. And honestly, I think there's a lot of safety around $98,000 to $100,000. Like, I think there's a lot of support we would find even if we fell down to that level. So in my mind, I don't put, if I think Bitcoin's going to go down to $98,000 exactly, I don't put my stop loss, or I don't put my liquidation level right there. I'd put it like $1,000 or $2,000 below it, because a lot of the time market manipulators like to do what we're seeing right now, which is move it like $500 below the previous low. I'm not saying we're going to get down there, and I'm not saying we're going to get down there by any means, but I do like to place a margin of safety because I usually like to go lower leverage. There are two different ways you can adjust risk, in my opinion. You can go lower leverage, or you can change your position sizing, like how much you put into a trade. So instead of putting, $100 at 100x leverage, you could put $300 at 5x leverage. Obviously those numbers are made up, but like you can put more into it if you go lower leverage, or you can put less into it and go more aggressive. And then you just know that you could be liquidated and lose the $100. I typically like to go low leverage and put more into the trades, but of course you have to make your own decisions. Of course, I can't tell you what to do either. I'm not trying to tell you to do any of this, right? You have to make your own decisions. This is the riskier part of my portfolio. The majority of my bag is just in spot. But I want to hear your thoughts underneath the video. Now's a great time to be trading on BYD5, by the way. We have this trading competition, $27,000 in prizes that will be given away in about 10 days. So check this out underneath the video. I really do appreciate it. I've been trading a lot on BYD5, really liked it recently, but I do use multiple exchanges. So if you want to check out another exchange, there's BTCC or BitUnix, WEEX, or BLOFIN underneath the video. I'll see you in the next one.